Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to the third race of Season 5 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Auto Club 400 here at California Speedway, as we are getting set for 30 laps of racing here at this big 2-mile racetrack. Now, before we get started, let's actually take a look at the point standings as they stand coming into the race today. So after last week, the first race of the West Coast Swing, we got a new points leader, Sean Galligan, and he leads by 3 points over last week's winner, Matt McIntyre. Third, Joshua Collard. Fourth, Tim Fiegel. Fifth, Ethan Hoffman. Sixth, Benjamin Miles. Seventh, Carson Gum. Eighth, Rafael Leduc. And then a tie for ninth, three-way tie for ninth, with DJ Curtis, Cullen Francis, and Dylan Young. Now, also another note for you guys, after this season, moving forward, going into Season 6, so on and so forth, no chase. Basically, most points at the end of the season is your champion. So starting from now on, after Season 5, no chase. It's just going to be straight up legitimate. So just a little note for you guys to get prepared for Season 6 whenever that comes out. But anyways, let's take a look at the starting lineup. Starting in the last row is Chris Dollarton and Jessica Sheldon, the Daytona 500 winner. Top 10, Jake Baskinger on the pole for today. Starting next to him is the points leader, Sean Galligan. Row 2 will comprise of Ethan Hoffman and Anthony McCrory. Row 3, Carson Gum, James McLeod. Row 4, DJ Curtis, Dylan Poteet, and then row 5, Kyle Matthews, and a guy who really needs to get a good run today, and that is Emmanuel Hartnett. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get the command to fire engines for the Auto Club 400 at California.
Drivers, start your engines!
All 40 drivers rolling out on the racetrack for their one pace lap around here. Now, of course, as most people know, this racetrack has been notorious for not only some weird wrecks, but also, at times, we get potential fuel strategy races. Some drivers elect to pit twice during the race, while some only choose to pit once during a race. So I'm going to be curious to see if we get any of those aspects here today. Now, Sean Galligan, who's starting second in this race, he's definitely on a roll right now, as he's the only driver so far this season to finish top 5 and or top 10 in both of the races we've had so far to start the season off. Can he continue that momentum and perhaps get a win? We'll have to watch this race and find out. Jake Baskinger, on the other hand, who comes into this race 24th in points. He moved up a little bit in points after Las Vegas, but we'll see what he's got for us today, as we are now going boogity, 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 racing. Jake Baskinger gets that other bonus point he wanted for leading a lap. Remember, if you get the pole, you get 2 bonus points, so that will definitely help you out as far as the point system goes. And you get that extra bonus point for leading a lap, and then another bonus point if you lead the most laps. So in theory, you could get a maximum of 54 points if possible. But anyways, we got a new leader. Jake Baskinger's teammate, Carson Gum, now takes over the top spot. And Carson Gum's got a little momentum on his side, as he got a top 10 finish last week at Las Vegas. Looking to keep that momentum going, and I see a crash. Couple cars got up into the wall. Looks like it was Dylan Young and Colin Phillips, the rookie. But we're still green. I guess they were able to keep it together. I don't know if James Shelley was involved. I don't see damage on his car, so it looked like it was just between those two. But we somehow managed to get away without a caution right there, which is kind of strange. I did see those two up into the wall. I thought the caution was going to come out, but I guess not. And there you see all the skid marks from when they did crash. Right now it's side by side almost for the race lead between Gibbs' teammates, Carson and Baskinger, but Carson gets that big run off the outside off of turn 2 and keeps the spot. And then right behind him, coming in for second, is Joshua Collard. Now, speaking of Collard and Dodge, another note, next season, Dodges won't be in Season 6. It's just going to be Chevy, Ford, Toyota next season. So the 43 car will be moving on to a Ford next season. So next season it's going to be interesting, especially considering majority paint schemes are going to be more or less customs. So we're going to see a unique Season 6 and also perhaps new tracks and some different things going on. And also forgot to mention, next race, which is, I believe, Sonoma, will be when we debut the brand new road course system, where it's a 20-minute endurance style event, where after 20 minutes in whatever lap they are on, they will have to finish. So, with that in mind, it will be confusing for me at first to figure out how I'm going to do a 20-minute timer for the road course races, but I'm sure I can make it work. But right now, Joshua Collard has the top spot on the racetrack, but Baskinger trying to get that run on the bottom. But again, just the speed you carry off of the outside, at least in the early goings of a run, really gives you an advantage. However, I guess now we're starting to see the bottom take off of turn 2. So it's like the longer the run goes, the bottom lane will start to kick in more. And right now, Baskinger hangs on to the top spot for now, with his teammate Carson behind him. But look at this. Last week's winner, Matt McIntyre's up here into the picture. And Matt McIntyre's trying to go 2 in a row in the West Coast swing. Right now he's kind of helping Carson Gum get the lead back, as the 19's up at the front with the 32 right behind him. And then we got a couple other contenders coming in here. Dylan Poteet in the 31, Jonathan Zorline in the 88, and right behind him, Benjamin Miles in the 22. More contenders I'm starting to see come into the fray. James Quall's one of them. Emmanuel Hartnett, James McLeod, I should say. Trent Dunham, Seth Cole. A lot of drivers starting to try and make some noise to get up here into the top 10. But right now it is still Carson Gum hanging on to the lead, and Dylan Young, it looks like... Let's keep an eye on Dylan Young's speeds and see if he's off the pace or not. I'm not entirely sure because he is out of the pack. I mean, he could be up to speed, but I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. And Colin Phillips, because of the damage he sustained during that incident with the 2, he's out of the race, and he's going to be the first of the bottom 5 guaranteed to not get points. That's the big thing with this point system. You want to try and do your best to avoid finishing between 36th and 40th. Otherwise, you won't get points, and it could really hurt your chances of excelling in the championship standings. But we are a third of the way through here at California, and right now Carson Gum's holding the pace right now with the race lead. However, Matt McIntyre got a run off of turn 2, and he's going to try and get the bottom to kick in and take the lead from the 19. Can he make it stick? He is trying. He is trying, but Carson just gets that momentum off the outside lane off of turn 4. Still holds on for now, but the 32 is not going to give up, and I think he's definitely going to have the advantage because the bottom gets the better run off of turn 2. Let's see if he can clear him off of 2, and not quite. He's still side by side. So great battle going on right now for the top spot on the racetrack. As Carson actually clears Matt McIntyre off the outside and is going to keep the lead. Meanwhile, 3 wide for 4th between Miles, Collard, and Zorleen. As I'm seeing newcomers up here into the picture. Rafael LeDuc in the 77, Dougie Shears in the 83, and Ryan Butcher in the 6. All working their way up gradually into the top 10. As I continue to look up here at the front, Carson Gum, he's been holding off everyone very well so far ever since he had taken the lead, and we're a couple laps away from halfway here at California, but it's still side by side between the 32 and the 19. Can the 32 actually get by? This time, no, he doesn't. It is still side by side, but luckily the 32 is going to have a little bit of a push from Benjamin Miles in the 22, at least for now. And I thought Miles was going to make it 3 wide for the lead, but with that help, Matt McIntyre to the point. Benjamin Miles now trying to take second away from Carson, and you got Trent Dunham up here into the fray. And look at James Qualls pulls out a line, trying to get a run underneath the 1 and the 43. But you also got to wonder, now that when we come to the line here, it's going to be halfway. You got to wonder, when are these drivers going to come down pit road? And I thought I saw one car in pit road. I must have been seeing things, because I'm not entirely sure. Although Dylan Young's going to pull in, so he's the first one coming into pit road, but luckily he's going to be able to make it on fuel the rest of the way since we're past the halfway point. So now we're starting to see drivers pull down to come in the pit road, and Matt McIntyre is the leader at the time. He's going to bring a whole group of cars in the pit road. In fact, I think that's about half, maybe more than half the field coming in the pit road right now. Not very many stayed out, but Benjamin Miles currently holding off Carson Gum and James Qualls for the top spot right now. And then you got Patrick Smith, Emmanuel Hartnett, Tim Fiegel, Paul Minnick, and Jay Jefferson, James Shelley staying out. Anybody? Whoa, Minnick nearly got loose and spun out right there trying to get down to the apron into pit road. But it looks like everyone of the second group has come in the pit road. Although, let me double check and see if anybody stayed out, and I don't see anybody that stayed out, so it looks like everyone elected to come in whenever they had to. Now, as far as who will be the leader, that's going to be interesting. Will it be the 32 or will it be the 22? As it looks like everyone's going with 4 tires and fuel. So let's see what happens here. Oh, the 19 trying. Nope, it looks like the 22 is going to beat out the 19 off of pit road from the second group. And Carson actually had to stop for a second to let him go. I'm trying to get to the 32 of Matt McIntyre. Let's see if he gets around the 22 in time. And it's going to be close. Is the 22 going to pull up in front of the 32 and slow him down? Doesn't get up in front of him in time, so that hands the lead for now back over to the 32 of Matt McIntyre. Apologize for that little moment of silence. There was something I was trying to take care of, but we are back at it. So now that we're approaching 10 laps to go, let's actually do a full field rundown after all the pit stops that just took place. So Matt McIntyre is your race leader. Second, Joshua Collard. Third, Benjamin Miles. Fourth, Trent Dunham. Fifth, Patrick Smith. Sixth is Carson Gums. Seventh, Jonathan Zorleen. Battle going on for 8th between Ryan Butcher and James Qualls. 10th is Dougie Shears. 11th, Emmanuel Hartnett. 12th, Tim Fiegel. 13th, Rafael Leduc. 14th, Paul Minnick. 15th, Seth Cole. 16th, Jessica Shelton. 17th, Jay Jefferson. 18th is James McLeod. 19th, Jake Baskinger. 20th is Dylan Jacobs. 21st, James Shelley. 22nd, Johnny Gardner. 23rd, Dylan Potee. 24th is Diego Yepes. 25th is Charles Sanford. 26th is Alex Drayton. 27th, Anthony McCurry. 28th is DJ Curtis. And Dylan Young's a lap down, so he's not there. 29th, Preston Plord. 30th, is that Dylan Thoreau? Yes, it is. 31st, Cody Lamas. 32nd, Sean Galligan. 33rd, Ethan Hoffman. 34th, Kyle Matthews. 35th is Zachary Fitzwater. And then the rest of the bottom 5 still running. 36th, Chris Dollarton. 37th, Joshua Sekuli. 38th, Jake Rogers. And then Dylan Young somewhere on the track, but he's 39th. And then Colin Phillips, who's out of the race, is dead last. But anyways, battle's still going on for the lead between 2 Dodges, Matt McIntyre in the 32, Joshua Collard in the 43, as some of the cars that were a little bit behind after those pit stops are starting to reel in the top 5. Like Patrick Smith's found his way up here. Same with Carson Gum. Zorleen's trying to get up here. In fact, a lot of people are trying to get up here into this fray. But it's 7 to go, and Matt McIntyre trying to go 2 in a row, not only for the season, but for the West Coast Swing. Because remember, the final West Coast Swing race we have is Sonoma next week. And remember, that's going to be a 20-minute endurance race as far as road course races go. Yeah, all road course races, like I said earlier, they will be 20-minute endurance races. Right now it's 3 wide for second. Patrick Smith in the 55, Trent Dunham in the 1, and Joshua Collard in the 43. All racing 3 wide for second, but this is exactly what the 32 of Matt McIntyre likes seeing as those guys race it out. But with Patrick Smith getting that run on the bottom, he tried to get underneath his teammate Matt McIntyre, but it didn't quite pan out right there. So Matt McIntyre's still hanging on right now, but look at Trent Dunham. He's getting a run on the outside. Doesn't lead the lap, but man, he is trying to get there. As Joshua Collard now makes it 3 wide again. And now 4 wide. Look at Carson Gum go on the very bottom towards the white line on the racetrack. And Carson actually had to slow down for a second to keep from hitting the 55 because they both got a little tight right there. So that was a close call. That could have been a wreck right there, and that could have been major. That could have been a major deal for sure. But Matt McIntyre still holding off everyone, but Carson Gum trying so hard to run the bottom to try and get that extra speed to find a way around the 32. And oh, we got a crash! Oh man, I think that's going to maybe end the race. Maybe a one-lap shootout. I'm not entirely sure. I think that's going to do it for the race. But Trent Dunham looked like it was he who got turned. Caution comes out for the first time, and it may end the race. But Matt McIntyre right now holding off everyone. It looks like he may be the lucky one with the victory. Because I doubt we're going to be able to get back to racing now. Because we're now at 3 laps to go. Yeah, I think that pretty much ended the race. And Matt McIntyre was the leader at the moment of caution. What a major shakeup we just had right there. And it looked like I said, it looked like Trent Dunham was the one who got turned going into turn 1. But we're actually going to go ahead and take a look at the replay and find out for sure what brought the caution out for the first and only time today here at California. Well, this is typical California. We typically see this at least once in a race, but whenever you get into the 4 wide situation going into turn 1, some drivers don't know where other drivers are, and right there you saw Trent Dunham had no real idea that he wasn't clear of Joshua Collard. He thought he was trying to get in front of the 43, but the 43 still had a run and ends up turning up in front of the 43 and turns the 1 up into the outside wall as he slid backwards. And very, very fortunate nobody else was involved, and this was a relatively minor incident. And in fact, Trent Dunham didn't really get any damage, maybe a little bit of rear end damage because he did get a little tap from Dougie Shears, but Shears still kept going. So nobody was damaged goods in that incident, so we luckily got away with a very minor accident. But that is pretty much what is going to conclude this race, is we're going to take you to the checkered flag here at California. Well, nobody retired after that wreck, and checkered flag waving, Matt McIntyre gets his 2nd straight win of the season. He wins the Auto Club 400 at California Speedway. 2 in a row for the season 3 champion of this series for Matt McIntyre. What a performance that team put on for us today. As the race is just concluded, now we shall take a look at the rest of the results. We actually had a 1-2 finish for Michael Waltrip Racing, Matt McIntyre winning, but teammate Patrick Smith comes through with a 2nd place finish. Carson Gum with a solid performance in 3rd. Benjamin Miles finishing 4th, and then James Qualls with a huge comeback finish in the 5th position. Jonathan Zorlian with a great run in the 6th position. Dougie Shears finishing out in 7th. Great run for Tim Fiegel in 8th. Paul Minnick 9th. And then Ryan Butcher, the highest finishing rookie, in the 10th position. Rest of the top 20. Great run for Emmanuel Hartnett. Then Rafael LeDuc, Jessica Shelton, James McLeod, Seth Cole, Dylan Jacobs. Excuse me. Jay Jefferson, Jake Baskinger, James Shelley, and Charles Sanford. Everyone else in the top 30, Diego Yepes, Dylan Poteet, Johnny Gardner, Joshua Collard, Alex Drayton, Anthony McCrory, DJ Curtis, Preston Plord, Dylan Thoreau, Cody Lamas. Everyone else for the top 35 for points: Sean Galligan, Trent Dunham, Ethan Hoffman, Zachary Fitzwater, Kyle Matthews. Everyone else will not get points, and that's going to be a tough break for them. Chris Dollerton, Joshua Cooley, Jake Rogers, Dylan Young, and the only driver out of the race, Colin Phillips. But that does it for our coverage today here at California Speedway for the Auto Club 400. Final race of the West Coast Swing. Next time we are at Sonoma Raceway for the Toyota Save Mart 350 20-minute endurance race. But until then, here are your results, rookie points and regular points heading into Sonoma. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.